Alrighty, and we are live. Welcome to the show, Delaney.
Hey, how you guys doing again? Good to see you.
Good, good. We've been hard at work on the project, so hopefully we can get a fancy UI going with Datastar.
Yeah, hopefully it goes really quickly. I made a claim when you guys were doing a stream. I kind of showed up real quick and I said, "Hey, we could do this and we can make something Daystar." And Bill's like, "Well, how long would that take?" And I said, "Less than 5 minutes." And he thought that was a joke, but it's not. So, like, it'll be interesting to see how we go about doing that. The thing is that the reason why I can make that claim is because a lot of the stuff is going to be built around. Um, just getting a regular website up, right? Like that's the part that's going to take us time because that's just the normal thing. I was thinking about since the last time I did the interview with Bill. There's a really interesting article. I can send you a link to it and maybe put it in the chat notes or something. But there's a whole thing of wizards versus sorcerers in
Okay.
engineering, and there's like Bill is definitely a wizard. He likes to have a meticulous, likes to think it through, likes to study every note thing. And I'm more of the sorcerer style where like I use wild magic and I just ship stuff and like
Yes.
and if there's a mistake, I will fix it. But like let's just throw fireball as fast as we can. So with that in mind, we can go about this in two different ways. We can go. I guess I'm driving, which is great. But the question is, do we go the YOLO Delaney route and just like get stuff working and then work backwards, or do we do a more like me fitting into the style of what you guys have already done? I will try to work either way, but I know that we will work faster if we do the Delaney Fireball. But again, that's going to be more of a YOLO kind of thing. It
I'm
depends on
thinking
what you guys
Delaney
want.
Fireball. I'm thinking
Delaney
Delaney
Fireball.
Fireball. Let's
Okay.
explore a little bit, have some fun with it,
Yeah, have some
do
fun, and
something
then
different.
maybe it'll be an interesting exploration of like, okay, we'll take Delaney's craziness and then step it back to like an actual, like turn it into a tome in D&D style. Okay, so the questions I have for you guys right now is the code changed quite a bit since I last looked at it. I see that there's stuff like there's already a web um, class in there. There already seems to be some stuff around React. I didn't know kind of where you guys are at and what the current status of things were.
So we're not doing it. We don't have anything in React at the moment,
Okay.
or web. It's just right now like a terminal UI that we have,
Okay,
and that
because
implements.
so I have it on the screen right now. So there was a
Okay,
foundation web and then like web and request and response. It
yeah,
looks like we're getting some feedback from Bill.
That's me.
sure. There he is. All right, we're good.
So the thing is, there was some stuff already here, so I didn't know kind of where we were at with that in general. So I like just before we get
Oh,
started, I want
okay,
to know.
okay. The web package. Okay, yeah, in the foundation layer.
Yeah. Now, if we can completely ignore that, that's fine. I just didn't know like kind of where we were at.
Yeah. So where we can go is if you go to chat API front ends client app
Chat API front end client app, and then app
app.go.
here. Yep.
Yeah, this is so that interface, the UI interface,
Mm-hmm.
that's kind of like what we're using in the TUI right now.
Okay.
And then if you go to UI
Go to
underneath
UI.
storage, yep,
Mm-hmm.
TUI, that's where we're kind of that's like our basically our front end right now in quotes. That's like our
Okay.
front end right now.
Okay.
So we can kind of use that as a guideline.
Okay, great. And then the other questions I have is, what's the correct way currently to actually run the app as is? Like, how do I just get it up and running? I saw the make file, but I wasn't sure of the exact steps I need to be able to like see the 2E as it exists now, so that we know what we're kind of going for.
Okay, yeah, so that's just two you'll need two terminal windows open.
Okay.
Um and you'll be doing make run cap in one and
Make
make
run.
run client.
I'm guessing it's a dash.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. So we'll make run cap and make run client. Okay. And then if we
Yes.
go foo, that goes and sends a foo over the bus. Okay, cool. And is this happen to be using Nats?
Yes, it
Or
is.
good choices, guys. Not that I'm biased or anything. Don't look at my T-shirt, please. So cool. I'm making sure we're good to go. If you're using Kafka or something, I'd have to like exit out now because Datastar doesn't work with Kafka. No, I'm just kidding. It works fine. But no, it's great. Okay. So here's where we're at. I am looking at, I figured I was going to kind of pre-game some of this stuff and say, hey, this is a bunch of boilerplate that we don't need to do. But at the same time, that's actually valuable, I think, for when you're doing this kind of stuff, is seeing someone just go, okay, I'm in a new fresh thing. What does it look like? What do I need to do? So
Exactly.
we're gonna step through this together, and I'm just gonna kind of talk out what I'm doing. Stop me at any time, ask questions, but I'm just gonna go at it like I had this to do, and I need to get it done right now. Right? That sound good?
Gotcha. Okay. And before we start, we have to look at your zarf file,
Oh,
and
what's
just make
a
sure the
ZAR
config's
file?
all set up. Yes. So if we go below
ZARF?
foundation, yep, cap, okay, and then client. I'm just making sure it all matches what I have here. Client. All right. DB.
DB
Uh,
messages.
messages. Okay. Data JSON, and then key. Okay. So I'm gonna have you. Let me see. Okay. So I'm gonna have you add me to your contacts list. So
Okay, how do I do that?
I'll send you an email real quick. Or
Okay,
actually, yeah, I'll send you an email real quick so you can copy paste.
sure.
So that will be that. And alrighty. Let's do this. Boom. Okay. So you'll just add that in and replace sample contact with that.
Okay, I'm just waiting on the email.
Yep. And in the meantime, you could change your name from anonymous to Delaney or
Sure. So this right here, I can change that.
yep.
Okay. Yep. Still waiting on that email. It's weird.
Let's see.
Oh, there we go. Cool. All right. And then where do I add this? Is this in
So
contacts?
now
The zero?
that'll go, yep, right there. And then you can
Okay.
put Kevin as the name, and
Cool.
we'll put the app last nonce at 0.
Kevin, last app last nonce at 0.
Yep. And
Okay.
that'll be it there. And you should be ready. You should be able to send me a message now. Let me just get my side up and running here.
Okay. Do I need to restart the cap thing or anything?
I would restart the client. So I would restart
Restart the
the
client.
client side.
Okay.
Yep. And then let's see. So here, make run client. Boom. Okay, and I see you there. Yep. Hello, and then I'll send you a message. You should
Hey,
see that.
awesome.
All right, cool.
Eh,
Nice.
Hooray. So
Nice.
because I haven't looked at what you guys have done yet here. Again, I'm coming in very fresh. So are you guys doing this over NGS?
NGS, not that I know of.
Okay, I didn't know how you were connecting the us together with that. I'm
We're
actually now
doing
curious.
we're using WebSockets and Nets.
Right. Oh, NATS is the NGS is the Nets global service. So yes, I'm guessing you are. Is my guess
Okay. Okay.
under the
Okay.
hood. Yeah. Okay. Interesting. Cool. All right. So what I'm seeing here is that we basically have. So you have a little button here. What does that BM stand for? Sorry, we'll make this a little bit bigger. Oh, submit.
Submit. Yeah.
Okay.
Submit.
Okay. So the first thing we have to do is just do regular web stuff, right? HTTP stuff.
Yes.
There's a couple ways we could do this. I'm gonna cheat it for just a second, just because we're gonna move fast. I'm gonna just set up a use the Vite hot reloading page, just because
Yep.
that way we can make something really quickly. And then all we're gonna
Yep.
do is just work on that HTML. Once we get it working, then we'll do the actual Go side and all that. Normally, I would do this all purely in Go, but like let's move fast. Let's make sure the UI is working, and then we'll do it the more correct way. Okay.
Okay.
So
Sounds good.
So now I can actually keep that off to the side because that actually helps me with what we need to build. So in here, in fact, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make a new branch
Okay.
called Data Star. I'm not messing with your guys' stuff. Then let's go into here. We have the web. We have this TUI. We're gonna make a new folder called web, and then
Yep.
we'll do all of our stuff in there. So that's in chat, app, UI, app,
Chat API.
UI, web. Is that right? Chat. What was it? Chat app.
It should
Oh, front
be,
end.
yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't
It'll
look like
be
that.
chat API front ends.
Am I in the wrong folder? That doesn't seem to be here. Hold on. That's interesting.
It should be
Says-
chat and then API.
Oh, in API. Gotcha. Okay, I was in the. Didn't know that's where it existed. Cool. We're in front
Yep.
ends. Client,
Yep.
UI, and then web. Okay, we are now
Yep.
in a good place. Okay, so what we will do is we're going to just do a pnpm create vite here, and it's going to ask us what we want to make, and we're going to just do we'll just call it basic for now. We're going to technically we do it in anything because we're not going to be using any of the components, but let's just say we have lit in case we want to do a web component for some reason, and we'll say TypeScript, even though again we're just doing this for the normal, like doing a web page, because right now you only have the one UI, right? We're not doing a
Yeah.
lobby and all that. We're just doing the page right now. Okay, great.
Just the
So
page. Yep.
that makes it very easy. So we'll go into basic. We'll do pnpmi, pnpm dev, and the whole reason for doing this is so that we have access to this index.html, right? So that we just have a live version that now when we run it, wrong page, wrong screen. So now we have it here. There, we have a byte and lit thing that's now hooked up. So we can get rid of all this stuff. And now we just have a nice page so that if we make a change here, foo, it automatically updates. That makes sense?
Yep.
Okay,
Makes
cool.
sense.
So what I'm going to do is this link and script tag, the CSS and stuff, I'm going to get rid of those because we don't need them. And the viewport stuff is fine. We can do the icon thing. We'll remove that for now. So and now we're going to talk about USDL is what you guys are calling it.
Yes.
Chat plus data star. Cool.
Very cool.
And then we do data star, make sure all that's working. Cool. All right. So we're going to go back to these layout. And the first thing I'm going to do is there's people that I've been a huge proponent of Tailwind for a long time. It's been a decent way to build things, but I've kind of fallen out of love with it lately. And the reason why is because it's very easy to write to get started, but it gets more complicated to do over time. So the thing that I've been really digging into lately is this thing called open props. I don't know if you've heard of it before.
Okay.
Have you heard
Open
about
props.
open props?
No,
Okay.
I haven't.
So the interesting thing about open props is it's still a design system based on they call it subatomic styles, and the reason why they call it that is because you're actually not just doing the Tailwind styles, you're actually going deeper, so that it's just a set of variables. So it is still a design system, so that for example you have colors, but instead of doing text dash blue, you're literally using the actual variable names, which means that you can get more fine grain. And you're still doing CSS. So you're not having to like fight CSS. Now that CSS has things like nesting and all this stuff, most of the time you can just use the variables and actually have more control over things. So I've been finding that I'm absolutely loving it, and it's much easier to deal with in the long run. So we're going to just pop that in real quick. So we're going to do the CDN, and we're literally going to do a style in the head. And we're going to literally just import props. We're going to do a normalize and buttons. These are things that like it comes with a nice set of styles out of the box. So now you'll see that if we go back to the page, we already have something that looks better out of the box, right? And then when you do things like H1 and H2, Again, these are all completely overridable. I sound like I'm doing an open props thing, but like it's just so nice that you can get something that looks decent right out of the box. Handles
Yeah.
light mode, dark mode, all those kinds of things. So that's going to help us a lot here. So what we're going to do is this my element. We don't need any web components for this. We're going to decide what we're going to call things. So for example, we're going to call this main thing, this outlining thing. I don't like container because it's almost too generic. We'll just call it chat for now because we might have, because the thing is you might start nesting these panes inside of other things on the page. So having the styles, like having it built around something a little more known is, I think, easier. So we're going to have two sections, right? Two large sections. We're going to have a div for users, and then we're going to have another one for this side panel thing, class right pane. Cool. Really, I should be using emit for this, but I keep forgetting to do it. And then inside this one, we're going to have the actual class. We're going to do messages for that. And then we'll say dot inputs. This is one of those things I always forget to do, but it's faster if you get used to doing it. Yeah, we'll do a message here, class input. We don't even need the class input, and you'll see why. And then we'll do a button. Don't need a class for that. And we'll do submit as you did before. Cool. Again, this is just about getting the rough idea of what we want in these places. So the nice part is let's fill this with some content for now. So this is going to be, yeah, user. Cool. And it will have their, let's just say Kevin. And do you want their ID to be there as well? Or is that, I mean, it makes sense for what you guys are doing right now. So, and then
Yeah. Yeah.
0x27, whatever. Okay, cool. We'll have that and we'll say that there's multiple people. Cool. And then for messages.
And quick question: Are we
Sure.
going to be planning to use the main.go that we have right now?
It's up to you. Like, since it's a brand new chat app, we can be completely independent, or we can make it where we basically copy paste that one and get rid of the TUI stuff. Like, it depends on how you guys want to do it. Like,
Okay.
you decide
So
what you want to do there. Like, is it easier? Is it enough of a library that we can just hook into it, or is it better to copy paste it? And there's like, you tell me what you want to do there.
okay. I think if we're gonna do like our own thing, but then if we made our own thing, we would have to do our own handshake and things of that sort, right?
Is there
Um,
ability to copy paste? Like, is that part of a library? Is that part of a set of functions that we can just hook it? I'm guessing, knowing Bill, that it's just a set of functions. It's its own little library that we can hook into. You tell me if it's something that we can copy paste from the original. I think starting fresh is like, again, this is day one. These are the kinds of things you would deal with, right? With any kind of, if you're building React or anything else. So you tell me how you want to handle it, and we'll do it however you want.
okay, I think um 1 second here.
Sure.
1 second here.
So what I'm gonna do.
Okay. So Bill's saying that in the end we need the interface implemented that we have in app.
Okay. But have you guys moved
That's
it
gonna
out
do
to
it.
its own library? Is it, or is it? Oh, it's not in TUI. It's actually in the app part. It's at the app layer.
It's in the app. Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Then
It's
100% you should be able to, like, if that's the case, if it's just an interface, we can hook into it pretty quickly.
okay.
So
Okay, cool. So we'll do
that
that.
will not be, I mean, that's the interesting thing, is all this stuff is just the minutia around making a website, right? Like this,
Yes.
we'll knock it out very quickly, I think. So let's say display, let's see, that was users. So chat is display flex as well. And let's say, so here's it, for example, you can do a gap, but you do var size 4. Oops. Copilot is thinking it's being clever. But see, like, for example, I can do size 8, and now it's a wider gap between those two things. If I do hey, I need to add some padding here, then just doing var size 4, now the whole, there's a little bit of padding on the outside. So these are the kinds of things that just, it gives you the same ideas of Tailwind, but you're actually doing CSS, so you can do nested things and all that. And it's a little, and then your actual text is very declarative, so it's completely independent from the styling, which I've come
Very
to
cool.
finally like really appreciate, that I get kind of the best of both worlds. And now that you have things like nesting inside of CSS, a lot of the things that the reasons why Tailwind existed in the first place kind of go away, in my opinion. So okay, so we have the users. We're gonna change that background to a slightly different color. Let's do background color, and let's do var. I think that's gray. Let's see, gray 2. Oh, the other way, because I think there's 12 colors. Yeah. So if we do gray 11, and then we do inside of it, we do padding 4. Okay, now that's thing, and then we can do things like, for example, border radius, and that's too much. There's a little one there. That's looks kind of like what you guys are trying to go for with the other thing. We can also
Yep.
take inside of users. We can literally do a thing called let's do a h2 of users. Cool. And then the users class, we're gonna do flex, and then we're gonna do flex direction column. So now those are in a line. And let's say there's a min width of, yeah, sure, 200 pixels. Well, actually, let's make that bigger, 400 pixels. Okay, so we already have something that's starting to look a little bit better. So the message up top is messages. Yes. Okay. So we're going to go here, do messages, and display flex. Let's see what Copilot thinks about that. That's not too bad. And then we can say here, we're going to do for messages, it's going to be the full width. And also it's going to flex 1 so that it takes up the space. Why isn't that working? Okay. So we have chat, we have right pane. Okay, right pane isn't taking up enough space. Oh, because we did messages, not right pane. Sorry. Flex direction grow there. So that's now filling that space. We have the thing at the bottom. It flexes to be the whole height of this, right? So it's all the way at the
Yep.
bottom. Now we'll do the, what do we call that? I called it inputs. Okay. So we'll go down here, and inside of right pane, if we have inputs, and then inside there, we're going to say that the input is going to, flex grid 1 there. Already, I think that's looking quite a bit better.
Very cool. Yes.
And then for button, we know that this is a kind of a bigger interface than just a normal submit. Again, this is the kind of stuff where the OpenProps has some really nice defaults, which is great. We don't need any of this stuff because it already kind of takes care of this, but we did want to up the padding here, so it's kind of a thicker button, right? And the nice part is that it
Yeah.
already has things like hovered with nice styles and all that stuff. Again, all this stuff's overwritable just the same way Tailwind, but it gives you such a nice, like, already we're looking decent
We're doing
right out
much
of the
better. We're in a good
Right.
spot.
So that's where I love it, because it is completely flexible and it's just variables. So it's very easy to change out. You'll look at the stuff and go, oh, but it is a design system built by like one of the UX developers at Google that does this really well. So you get good defaults to start from, and then you can just work from there. So we use H2 for that. Let's say for the right pane for messages, we do the same thing, and we say this is. Did you say messages there? No, you didn't have any. What is this this hex that's up here? What is that for? Is that your user ID?
Yeah, that's ours in case we want to give it to somebody else.
Okay. So we'll probably turn that into a clipboard thing or something in
Yep.
in a little bit. But what we can do here is we'll just do UX, and then we'll do something like my ID is something like that, right? So roughly, we have that, and then in fact we're going to say that in the right pane. We're going to actually have it outside of that. And cool. This looks like basically what we want. I'm guessing, right? Like
Yes.
this.
Yep.
Actually, hold on. Let's make it better. Because I like to have things that look good enough that I don't have to go back and, like make your programmer art look decent when
Hmm.
possible. So what I'm going to do is actually I'm going to just split this screen over, and then I'm going to move up here so I can see kind of both things at the same time. So we have messages, and then inside here we have message, and that's a little bit better. We could also alternate so it goes back and forth, so it's more like a chat thing going back and forth. But also, do we have do people put in a avatar of any kind? Like, do they have an image, or has that not been
Nope.
done yet? Okay, so
Nope. It
what we're
hasn't
going to
been
do
done
is
yet.
there's a I'm trying to remember. There's like a lorem avatar. Lorem Pixum. That's it. Pravatar. Perfect. So we're going to just take a Pravatar for each of these users and say, we're going to say user Kevin, and then we're going to say div, or we're going to do image source, and then that, and then we're going to, actually, sorry, that's a void type. We're going to do an alt of the user avatar. Cool. And if we go back to where we were, it's not happy with that. Oh, because
Yep.
my autocompletes got the best of me. Okay, so we have a person there, and then we'll copy that to the others because that's what Kevin looks like, right? Like that's so we have Kevin's all over the place. Great. We will fix this, but that's again the whole point. So if we do image, yes, we get a border radius, and then we can do something like, for example, I think it's radius, and I think it's round. There we go. And then we can do nice things like, for example, you can do box shadow, and then they have some really nice shadows in here. Shadow 3. Okay, so that worked there. Why didn't it work in the other one? Like, why are we seeing weird images here? Why is that going? Huh. Message, image. That's interesting. Oh, because messages now, these are outside of the messages. That's why. Okay. Great.
There
So
it
we have that
is.
thing, and then we will also do let's see, user. In fact, I wonder if we should put it inside of user so that then when we do this, Kevin, and then we do image, and then we do for user, we do a display flex, and then gap. Sure. That's going to be probably better. And now we can take this guy and do it for these. And then let's see, I think it's items, line items. Yeah, a line item center. And then we'll do font size of var font size 4. There. That's probably too big, but the point is that I feel like this is closer to what an actual, like we're getting into the weeds. And if we do messages, we can also do the gap here. Now we have some nice spacing between the individual messages. So the only thing now is that my input went into the wrong place because I put it in the wrong place. So we put it back there. Okay. This feels better to me. Like this feels like we're closer to an actual decent looking site. How do you feel about it now?
This looks awesome to me. I'm really impressed with the open props and how that's working out.
Yeah,
I think it's very cool.
It solves so many of the problems. And the thing is, it's kind of, this is what you'll find if you start using Datastar. Datastar doesn't like hide a lot. Like when you use React or Vue or Solid or any of these things, even HTMX, it's hiding a lot of what the browser is actually doing. And I feel like
Yeah,
I'm a very big fan of like Open Project matches very well with Datastar in that you still have to know how to do CSS. Like it doesn't take that away. You still need to know how the browser works if you're going to do stuff in the browser. So
for sure.
the whole thing is that it's a hypermedia client. You're not going to hide that away, and you shouldn't hide it away because it's really powerful. That did not take us a lot of time to get a really solid UI and keep our stuff nice and clean, which I think Bill will probably appreciate, right?
Yep, for
Okay,
sure.
so I'm going to commit where we're at now, if that's okay.
Yep.
So we don't need, let me just kind of try to clean up before we put stuff in here. We don't need the Vite thing, though it might complain that it's an empty thing. So I'm just going to do a test.text here just so that it doesn't fight over that. We actually got rid of all the assets, all the CSS, the element for now. We'll get rid of all that. In fact, well, I'll leave that just in case we want to do a web component at some point. So I'll leave the web component there. We'll get rid of that. The package, yeah, that's fine. Okay, this feels better to me as a start. Okay, start web UI. Cool. So now what I think the next part is, now that we have something to kind of give us a basis on, I can close the app for now. Now we need to deal with Go, right? Because like
Yep.
we need to make a whole new interface. We need to go to the Go side of the house. Okay, so if that's the case, we can get rid of this for now, or I can just make it a lot smaller. Okay, so we are going to go do Go stuff. So we have a TUI and we have Web
We
Basic.
do.
So TUI. So now we're going to want to do. You guys are now. Is this getting called as a? Does this have a main, or is this getting called as a library, like basically as a run blocking kind of thing?
It has a main.go attached to it.
The TUI has a main.go. Where's the
Well,
main?
there's a the main.go is below web basic. Like if
Below
we
web.
collapse,
Oh, right here,
yeah,
this main.
right, main.go.
Cool, 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 cool. So TUI just gets a new, and it gets a UI. The new app gets a UI, and there. Okay, cool, 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 cool. So we are going to look at. I think I would normally copy paste this in, but let's do it from scratch so that you can help teach me about the code base. So we'll treat it as a pair programming thing of like, you're going to step me through what I need to know about the app, right? Otherwise I could just copy paste and just make it work, but I'd rather know what we're up to. Okay.
Okay.
So are we calling this, we're not calling it, are we calling it web for the, instead of TUI, or are we calling it Datastar, or are we calling it like, what do
We
you want to
can
call this?
we can call it Datastar.
Sure. It's really up to you because it like this has really nothing to do with this. Well, we did call this web, so if we want to, we can call it Datastar,
Oh,
and then we
okay,
say this is
okay.
Datastar. Like it's up to you. Like because the thing is, the same ideas are going to be the case whether it's React. Datastar is just an implementation detail right now, so
Okay. So
maybe we should just keep it.
web.go would fit better.
Yeah, I think so because again, if you guys say Daystar doesn't match our needs, ripping it out will still keep the same general style of how a website is built up, right? So, okay, so I'm going to keep TUI over to the side just so that we can match. So there was that func new. So in fact, what I will do is go into main, and we're going to change this out for web. Oh no, not sorry.
Okay.
That was the Mux one. Where was TUI? TUI. Am I looking at the wrong one? Main. Oh, I was looking at the wrong.
Right
Okay, so we're
there.
gonna change. So I wonder if we should change this to TUI UI because the thing is, there's no reason with. There's a lot of times where I'll add a web UI to any Go binary. So I do stuff that like works at the CLI, but also works in the browser. So I don't think we should have it be TUI or Datastar. I think it should just support both. Like you guys already did the work and it's
Okay.
supporting it. There's no
Yeah.
reason not to. So we might need to make some changes to make this feel better. But like, let's see what we can do. So we're gonna have TUI and then we're gonna have web UI, right? And then
Yep.
that's gonna be web dot new. Actually, we have to add the function, otherwise it's not going to pick that up automatically. So we're just going to do new, and then you do my account ID is a
And
common.
and before we continue, I can show you the app package as well. I think that would also help because there's a UI interface there that
Okay.
we need to implement.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So where is this? You said what's the name of the
So
file?
it is app. It should be front ends
App.go.
client app and then app.go right above
Okay.
formats. Yep. And
And
there's a
then
UI interface. That one right there, online 51.
cool. We're
That's what
gonna
we
just
need to
awesome.
implement there.
Um, and you guys are using Ethereum addresses. Tell me about this.
We have a little bit of Ethereum going on
Okay.
for signing messages and back and forth.
Okay. Okay. Cool. Awesome. So I'm gonna make a quick thing. This is a web UI struct, and it's gonna return a new one of those. And there's no way it can error. I think probably. Okay. And then we'll return nil for now. And then we're gonna copy paste these boys in and do a funct UI web UI. Do that. Run those. So we are now implementing those things. Message doesn't know about message. So let me just copy the parts that I need to know about. So app. So write text. Where's message? App.message. Okay, cool. App message. And so in this case, we're going to return from our error not implemented. Cool. Write text. So we now technically satisfy that interface poorly, right?
Yep.
That's so now we can do web. It should pick up Ardan Lab. Yep. New my account ID. It
Yep.
did it pick up the wrong one?
Default
Oh, it did
post.
pick up the wrong. Yeah, it picked up the
Yeah.
other one. So let's see. Web will be. Is it that? No. There. Okay. Web UI. Now in this case, it looks like for new app you're taking in the TUI here, but I'm gonna make a call and change it here to web UI. And the reason you'll see what I'm gonna do. Have you done variadics much yet?
Variadics. I'm not familiar with
Okay, so
Variadics.
check this out. So we're gonna do a UIs is
Okay.
this,
Oh, okay. Oh, okay,
and
okay, okay.
and
Yeah.
now when it comes to the app, we can make UIs into UIs and make it that. And now what's interesting is it doesn't matter if we add one UI or 20 UIs, it's all going to get turned into one slice for you, which makes it really nice
Nice.
because you
Okay.
don't have to think about it. You don't have to like create a new array and all that. It just happens in the backend, or it happens at the compile time. So I feel like that's a little bit easier way of dealing with it. And also the nice part is you could say, like, for example, if you wanted to, we could say I don't know how this is being used right now. So do the equivalent of that. And then you can always take this and splat it out like that. So if you have a
Mm.
slice of something, if you're like, hey, I have a slice of something, and it'll basically turn that into an array. So you can do it by hand, or you can do it just basically splatting an array. That's, I think, a really nice way to do things in a clean way. Yeah. Do you have
Okay.
any questions? I know if you've never seen that
So
before.
then, yeah, I've never seen that. So there will always be like, let's say we had two UIs, both UIs will be running at the same time, both versions.
Yeah, I mean that's the whole thing. Is that like why not? Like why can't we do this, right? Like we can
Okay.
totally make this happen. Um, cool. So I don't know. Are you actually doing? So here's where I think this is actually a better way to do it. And what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to just pull out because you don't care about TUIs at this point, and you did, but now you're not gonna. And the reason why is now you have these two interfaces. We'll get rid of this. We'll splat it in, and then for setting up the app, we'll do a for in range of them of the UI, and then set app because it's a interface, right? So the whole point
Yep.
is now. So the thing is that UI has no thing. We don't have set app in the interface. So that's just telling me right there that the interface isn't good enough yet, and that's fine. Like that's how you find what's a good interface, right? So
Mm-hmm.
in the UI interface, we need a setup app uh,
I
interface.
know we weren't able to do that because of a chicken and the egg problem. We weren't able to do that. So like if we go lower in the TUI,
Mm-hmm. Oh,
you'll
this would
see
be
where we did setup. Let me get you a line in line 140.
line 140.
Yep, line 140 setup where we had to
Mm-hmm.
kind of do that there. We did the setup and then 1 second here.
Sure.
Bill's typing. Yeah, if we did the setup, okay. He's saying start in main. If we did the setup in the interface, it'll break something in main.
Okay, let's go take a look. If we do the set app, I mean, this is now no longer causing. I'm not seeing compile errors. I mean, that doesn't tell us anything yet, right?
Yep.
Um, wait, sorry, I was in the wrong main. So you're saying it will cause issues, but I'm not seeing the issue. That's why, like, it's the same thing. So I'm a little curious.
We need to create the UI before the app
Yeah, and
is what I'm getting here.
that's what we're doing. The interface is doing it as a secondary step. It's not doing it before, it's doing it after the app is created here and then set app is here. I guess I'm like
Okay.
maybe I'm like I might be confused about something because the thing is if we go back to the way it was, right? Let's go completely back to where it was.
Okay.
My question is you're doing setting up the TUI app or you're setting up the UI, then you're setting up the app, then you're calling the set app, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
I don't
Yeah.
see
I
the
mean,
difference.
it should.
I don't see the difference between that and just saying that this now is an interface that everyone has to set up app.
Okay.
Like
Yeah. I mean,
it's just including the interface.
I'm curious to see what'll happen anyway. So let's continue on with how you were
Okay.
thinking.
So let's see. So I have set up TUI set app application. Okay. It's saying that it's not. I need to do now. If we do it the way I think that it's going to work, if we go to app and then we do UI run here. And in fact, we can do errors and make a new slice of ling or of errors with the ling of that. Then we do, oops, append errors, and then we do UI run there, and then we turn errors join. Now, have you seen errors join before?
Errors joined. No. No.
So,
I'm fairly new, so
oh no,
I'm learning with you here.
that's the whole point here. So what errors is
Yep.
you know how you do the if error if error if error if error. Like in this case, we
Yes.
have a set of UIs, and basically what we're saying is you're taking all these errors, we're pinning them into a list, and then we're doing that splat thing that we just talked about with the variadics. We're doing that to say, hey, give me one error out of all this. So either all of it's going to be nil, or I'm going to get the first error that I got out of this.
Gotcha. Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yep. Makes sense.
Okay.
Very cool.
Okay. The only thing is, I think the only issue I can see right now, I think what you guys are doing is blocking. Things don't go off and do their own thing. You might want to ask Bill if the UI run is a blocking call or it's a non-blocking call.
Okay.
Um,
I'll wait for him here to type back.
okay.
He did tell me that if we read the code in main from top to bottom, the order of things is we create the app, we create storage, we create the UI, and then we set the app. And it is a blocking call.
Okay. So the nice part about this right now is that we can So it's saying the variable missing method setup. So let me go add that because we added it to here. So
If
I
it
will
makes
go.
things simpler, we can do it with one UI running. If it
Yeah,
makes it
what I'll do is
easier.
I'll set it up to like we're gonna do this in layers because what I'll do is if we can keep it in place where it is right now, and then basically I'll go show you how to make it a non-blocking call. But again, we're gonna add a library that I wrote, which again I don't know how many dependencies you want, kind of thing. But I can show we'll get it running with one, and then we'll get it back to running with two in a few minutes.
Gotcha. Okay. Yep. Yep.
So this was the 2E setup, and then we go into web, the thing that we just did, and we're gonna add func UI, web UI, and there. And then this is, I guess, app.app. Yes. The thing that's interesting to me is set app can't error. There's no way for it to error. Is that correct? Because right now you guys are not catching any errors or things. It just seems interesting that like there's if there's no way it can error, that's great. If it can, it would be good to know that now.
Okay. Uh,
Okay.
Give me 1 second there, and then
Yeah. No problem.
the UI run is non-blocking. Bill just corrected. The UI run
Okay.
is non-blocking. The app.run is blocking.
Okay. No, that makes it even better. I don't have to do so. I need to know that in my call, in fact, in the UI in this interface that we made or that you guys made, sorry.
Yep.
We need to like it would be very good to actually say when this run must be non-blocking, so that when someone's
Okay.
implementing that interface, they're like, oh, okay, because a lot of times you will write a blocking version of it and then running Go routines and stuff like that. So I need to know
Okay.
to
Gotcha.
make that the case. The other thing that's
Gotcha. Okay.
interesting about that to me is I don't see it taking. I would think that run would take a context so that you could cancel it. Is it just treated as a singleton that's at a top layer that basically says, hey, the only reason this should ever close is if the entire app goes down. Is that the reason why there's not a context here? I just want to make sure before I make new contexts and stuff.
Um, Bill's saying it's socket based. It's all contained. It's kind of what I'm getting. I'm not.
Okay. Okay, cool. Because I like you'll normally use contexts and stuff like that. So I
Yeah.
just want to make
We
sure.
don't need a context on the UI run.
Okay, great. So now I'm just curious because I made changes to your guys' stuff. We're gonna go back to and then TUI says that it doesn't has app set TUI have hold on.
And for setup, we write the errors to the screen so we can see them. That's why I guess it doesn't return the error there. We're just writing them.
Okay.
Check that.
So is set app is app a app's not an interface. Okay.
No.
Okay. No, because
Well,
I
hold on.
need to use a pointer if that's not the case, which is fine.
The
Set app does so that takes it is an interface. Okay. What am I missing here? Let's see. It says it wants TUI app.
yeah, the
I
app
have
is the app itself.
the app is the app itself. So if we go into TUI and we go to set app, that's maybe I'm confused. So what is TUI has an app inside itself, but it also has an app. Wait, you guys have an app interface inside of here? Not how are people like this TUI interface is at the TUI level, not at the UI level. Am I understanding things correctly? I feel like I'm confused here because you have a
TUI needs to access some like app stuff.
okay.
So if we read through TUI, let me see here.
But again, this has to be something that's available to any UI, right? So maybe this needs to exist at a different level. So it needs to
At
exist,
a higher level.
right? So like, let's say this is I don't know what to call it right now, but we'll call it something better in a bit. So if we go package UI and we have, it needs to be at this level where I can get access to it, right? Because it's right now it lives inside of the TUI, and that's not, it's not available to me.
Bill is telling me no.
Bill's telling you no. It can't
Yeah,
live
Bill's
outside of
telling me
TUI?
no. Yeah,
No to what
Bill's
part?
telling me no.
To what?
Um, I'm waiting on a response here.
Okay. Like, the thing is that we need to
All we need
implement
is
an interface.
okay. Let me.
Okay, the thing is we need
All
to
we
the
need.
UI needs to implement interfaces.
Yeah, he's telling me all we need is to implement a UI and that interface. The okay,
Right, but how do we get
saying
it so that
let's
both
simplify
TUIs can
things.
I
Let's see.
get here's my question is how do I get access to that app interface if it's in TUI? Like, it's a different then it's not something that's a global we're we're trying to make it so that any UI can work with this, right? That's the whole point of the interface thing is to make it so that any UI can work. So that it could be the web, it could be a TUI, it could be 10 other things, right? Like, my problem is that if it lives inside of the TUI, then it's not an interface that's shared between them. So if you make the app thing, you guys made this set app or you made this UI, but if it doesn't actually, each one has its own internal interfaces it has to implement, I feel like we're missing something here.
He's saying to go we can go back to just running one UI at a time, and the new package just needs to copy the interface. You don't want to share the interface.
Okay, I'll go with
For
Bill.
now
I
we could just
disagree with
copy
him.
it.
Okay.
Okay.
Uh, yeah, I think I don't think that's a good idea, but like this is your guys' thing, so I'll hang back. Okay, so if that's the case, then I will undo these things for now. And I guess we can leave the change to make it variadic here, and then we will get rid of that. And so the setup thing will now be web UI, I guess.
Yep.
Actually, I'll leave that as
From
is.
what I understand, yep.
Okay. Yeah, it would be interesting to have a conversation with him about this because
Yeah,
yeah,
he said well
I definitely disagree. So it'd be interesting to have a conversation. So we're gonna copy and paste this from here, I guess, into here, and then that's gonna be this, and then we now take a UI that interface is going back to not run app, I guess, and then we're gonna have to change the UI. Yeah. Okay. So we're back to now we're in our own place with our own web thing that has this interface that we have to run. Okay.
uh-huh.
So we're gonna have this to do. So the run is non-blocking, and it needs to go off and do its own go routine. Correct? I think that's what you said, but I'm just making sure.
I think so. Let
Okay.
me go up here. App run is blocking. Yeah, app run is blocking.
No, this is an app run. This is the web UI run. That one's non-blocking.
Oh, web. Oh no, that's non-blocking. Sorry.
Okay.
Yes.
So I need to make sure that it's not blocking. Otherwise, I'm going to halt everything, right? So, okay.
Yep.
So what we'll do is, I know that there's the new Go standard web UI thing. I'm haven't used it as much, so I'm going to drop in Chi. Have you heard of Chi yet, or haven't used it yet?
Cheat? Nope, haven't
Yeah,
used it.
it's like maybe 600 lines of code, and it's a very solid router. So we're going to do that. So we don't even need I guess technically we could have this server piece, and it's going to be a HTTP server here. This is just built into the standard web UI. We're going to create a server. Luckily, this is all pretty standard stuff. Do you guys have a port that you want to be on, or do you want to make it configurable, or you don't know yet? Like, how are you guys doing environment variables and stuff?
We haven't decided on that yet, as far as I know.
Okay,
So
I will make it
yeah.
a simple thing of just going from port, and if it doesn't exist, we do the 3000, and then we take, actually we'll take that and call it port raw, and then we'll do port error equals, yep, string to convert, and if it's an error, then you didn't give us the right thing. Cool. Now we have a port, and then we say format.sprintf, and we're going to put that port in. Great. And then we need the handler, which is going to be a router. And then we'll say router. Cool. And then with this, we'll do a go funct, start the server, and then run that so that you. So now this should actually run a server in the background. And then when we talk about the router, it'll be a chi new router. And yep, those are all fine. Guess it didn't. Oh, because I didn't copy them in first. Okay.
Yep.
And then do go mod tidy. Cool. So we should have that now. So, okay. I know I kind of went a little faster. What is there any questions about what I just did?
No, not at the moment. Not at the moment.
Okay.
Um, yep.
Okay. And then what we can do is just to double check that this works, we can set a first request of hello world, right?
Yep. Perfect.
Cool. So the way to run this was the run cap, right?
Run cap. Yes. Run cap and run client. Well, it'll be different now, but run cap.
It says ignore vendors. Vendor. Do I need to do a go mod vendor? Are you vendoring everything right now?
I will find that out for you.
Well, it looks like we're okay. So if we
Okay.
go here now and we go to localhost 3000, it does not like that. Okay. It says it's main info. It says shutdown. I'm not sure why it would say shutdown here. Yeah, this is not how I
Yes,
would
make
normally do it.
Bill says yes, make tidy. He's a little behind. It says yes, make tidy.
Yeah, I had already done that. So, or I'd already done
Okay.
mod tidy, but it says starting the host on 3000, but so
Cap is
okay.
using 3000. He needs to use a different port.
Okay, that's good to know. We'll be children and say 1337. Okay, it doesn't like that. See if this is even running. Starting server on port, blah, blah, blah. And you guys don't do any live reloading or anything right now, right? Like it doesn't automatically, as you make changes, it doesn't automatically restart the cap server and all that stuff, right?
No,
Like you guys
no,
don't
I
have
don't
a
believe
setup.
so.
Okay.
We just leave cap running.
Okay, so far that is not, I don't see that in the logs anywhere. So let's take a look. Is foo?
Yeah.
Do you see foo running in a place I don't? I'm not. I didn't use your guys' log. Do you guys have a separate logger thing I need to use to get logs out?
I know we do use a logger. Well, I'll find out that detail for you now.
Okay.
Yeah, and the cap is a backend service, so it never needs to get restarted, basically.
Oh, so I'm dumb because I kept changing the cap server. It's not the cap server; it's the client that we're changing.
Yeah, we have the
Okay, so that's called make run client.
make run client.
Okay, UI undefined, so it doesn't like that. Okay, it doesn't like UI app.ui. Oh, it doesn't like that it's a. Why doesn't
Yeah,
it
the
like?
right text was to make it go to the TUI, I believe. That's how we were writing to the screen.
Okay, UI, and then we'll change this to UI, and we'll do UI 0 for now because I know. Well, here I'll just change it to this for now so that we don't get confused. Okay. And then we'll go. This was just calling run. What was this before we made the change? App.go. That, and it just return run. Okay. So we'll go back to the way you guys were doing it. App.ui run. Okay, so it's starting the server and then it's exiting. So it started the server and then closed. So
Okay.
that tells me that it needs to be blocking. Is that not the, or there's something else that I'm missing here? Because it sets with the UI, it does the handshake, does app run. And you said app run is blocking, but I'm getting foo, and then it goes and it closes. What would cause that?
Let's see
So if I
here.
go into web, I'm not returning an error.
Log fatal or no?
The fatal is on the the failed to start server part. That's the only part that is fatal here, and it's not getting called. It's the printf, and then it's listening and serving. That's a blocking call there, and then nothing else is going to happen. So,
the UI is
yeah.
blocking. Bill just corrected. Yeah, the UI is blocking.
But I did a go routine, so it's off doing its own thing. So it's not. Oh, it needs to be. Does it need to be blocking? Is that what he's trying to say?
Let me see.
Because the problem I
Yes, it
see with
does.
that. Okay, so if we go back to where run is called in app run, okay. So if it needs to be blocking, cool. Then we just don't do that in a go routine, right? Like we just leave it there, and then we literally do just a return of this because it's just going to sit there and be blocking, listening for web app stuff. Okay, so now if we go to 1337, we get hello world, and if we do ... we should get it again there. So that was 3 dots, and then we go back to hello world.
Very cool.
Star, and then okay. So I'm going to try to stop myself from making it so you guys have live updating right now, because this is going to be a lot slower than I'm used to. But the thing is that you guys are using make files, and I'm a very big fan of task files and doing like watching and directional things with hashing and all that. That can get into the weeds. Maybe I'll just try to do it this way, but I do think that we can make this a much better so that basically every time you make a change, it automatically updates and automatically live reloads your web UI. So we're not going to do that at this moment. But what I will do is, so we need to get that HTML to be served here, right? Like that needs to happen. I tend to use, let's see, do we even need to do that? I'm trying to, so I'm a very big proponent of Temple. It's a thing that does code generation to make really, really fast templates. But I don't know if we even need to do that in this case because we just have one page to do. So maybe it's not worth doing all the Temple and setting up templates and all that. Like we can do that another time. Again, this comes down to again, we haven't gotten to data star at all, right? Like this is just normal web stuff. Like data star is not the issue.
Exactly.
Okay, let's see what is the best way to do this. Okay, since we're going to be this is again, even though it's a web app, it's going to be, I think that it'd be really good as a single binary. A lot of times you'll see people make a website in Go and they'll basically say, here's a folder to pull from, right? Like, so that you have to give you have to give the binary, but you also give it a folder with all the assets and all that, right?
Yes.
I think that's really annoying. And so I like one of the nice things that's built into Go is that it has the ability to do embedding. of assets. Have you done any embed stuff yet?
Embed, not that I'm aware of.
Okay, we're gonna do it. We're gonna do it live. I'm gonna pull a new repo just off to the side so I can grab a nice little piece of the basic code to do that. Sure. Let me find it. You doing okay so far? I know we're
Yeah,
covering
I'm
some
doing
ground.
okay.
Okay.
I'm there.
Embed server. There we go. Okay. So what I'm gonna do is in this folder. So I'm gonna commit where we're at right now, which is poorly implement UI interface. Cool. And this has. Do I need to commit the vendor stuff with the chi and all that stuff? I'm guessing so. Yes, would be my guess. Like you guys
Yeah,
vendor. Okay, you guys vendor everything.
I would
Cool.
assume. I would assume so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, this brings up a whole bunch of other questions, but yeah, we'll have a time with. I'll have a Bill and Delaney
We'll
talk.
have time. We'll
Yeah.
have time with Bill
Okay.
to
Cool.
line all
Uh,
that out.
all right. So we're gonna say, do you want to commit everything? Let's see. Did I close everything? Let me see if we're. It says I had changes. I don't think I had changes. Let's see. Commit. There are no stage. Oh, do I want to do that now? Yeah, I do. Okay, so now we're starting kind of fresh with that as the start. And we go into web. Cool. I am copying just some lines that I've done in the past before. Basically,
Okay.
so we have this basic website that was just us kind of playing around with the UI so that we had a live feed. But now we're gonna like start putting stuff in place. So in this case, I'm gonna make a new folder called static in the web folder,
Gotcha.
and then I'm going to make this little thing called embed. And the nice part is that what it's going to do is I'm going to take the content of basic, that HTML page, and I'm just going to copy
Okay.
paste it into static. Now, the nice part about that is that from Go's perspective, when we're looking in here, and I will just do a reload just to make sure it knows that folder's there. It's going to actually take whatever's in static and it's going to put it directly into the Go binary. So we're going to get access to it directly from the Go binary.
Gotcha. Okay. I have seen this before. Okay.
Okay.
Now seeing it rings a bell. Okay. Very cool.
Okay. And then what we're going to do is there's a thing called static. This is a nice little function done by Ben Johnson, who is amazing. And what it does is it basically creates a version of the embedded system or the embedded file system that automatically does all the hashing and stuff and the correct e-tags and all these things that the browser needs to know, and basically makes it so that there's a perfect cache of this thing. So as long as the constant stays the same, it's going to cache it and then it's never going to rebuild that thing. So once you guys get this into the cache, you're guaranteed to have the right e-tags and the things in place so that it'll be cached forever, which is great, right? Like
Gotcha. Okay.
this is one of those really nice little things. And the other thing, I probably don't need that part for now, but we will take this content here, and on this router that we just made, we're going to add a router that says anything. Now we have a folder /static that anything that has that thing is now going to be accessible directly, if that makes sense. Like you can do
Got it.
static
Okay.
and then put a CSS or do any kind of other thing. So we have that in place now. So now if we ran, for example, we ran this thing again. Go mod. You guys have it as a thing, make tidy.
Make tidy. Yep.
And then we do run client and we start here and we go to static index. Our thing is now there.
Nice.
In that
Okay.
way.
Very cool.
Okay. And in this case, we can just go from that static folder now. Like normally we're going to make it dynamic here in a second. It's accessible there. So if we make a change there, we rebuild the Go binary to do other things, it'll be there in place, right? And it'll be nice and compressed and all that stuff. Okay. So we have stuff on the page, we have static, we have the thing being hosted. Now we need to actually implement the UI internal stuff. So we have we have here, and then we can do a split and do, split, sorry. Do that, and then do 2e. So there's this app thing that I don't quite know. We have this new common address. So it looks like here you have the button. We don't care about, I guess we do care about the app, right? But everything else here, I don't think we care about unless you're keeping the
No.
messages. How are you doing the messages and like the actual caching of the messages and stuff? Is that saved in the list, or like how are we doing that right now?
We're saving them in that file down in Zarf
Okay, so
in
the
the
thing is, it's
DB
actually
messages.
so is the UI pulling it from the app? Like, it doesn't have to keep its own copy. Is that the gist? Like the 2e itself.
Ye- I think we're adding it to the file, and then the UI is reading that file. Like it's reading it back in.
So
I
it's
think
not coming from the app. It's coming from the UI itself is reading the file. That surprises me. Let's see.
The UI pulls from the list
Okay,
from the UI components.
from the UI components. Actually, I don't even need server here.
Bill's saying we read the UI components, not the file. We read the UI components.
The UI components, not the file. Okay. So this is UI.app equals app, I guess. And then let's see, for users and contacts, add an item. When it says setup, what happens when you have a new user that's automatically dynamically coming in? How does that get? Does the setup get called every time, or is this like? I guess there's update contact, but is there add contact? Like, it seems like that's
Yeah, there is.
okay.
Let me try and find that. 1 second.
Because it looks like we're okay. I'll just copy this for now and see. UI. So you do have a list. What is list? Oh, you're doing it there. Okay.
Yeah, we're adding them. Yeah. Okay.
And where do you have username and their address? So I guess we have to make a user struct that has Adrian name, and then we keep users here, or we keep it by like that, I guess. And then when we do new, we do UI, web UI, users, and then we do map. Yeah. And then my account, I guess we don't need that. The thing is, we don't need, just do string, usernames. Okay. And then we do, how do we know the person's username from the common address? Username. App contacts. So you have to call app contacts. Okay. Got it. Okay. Cool, I guess. So run is that text. Okay. So, and note that we're keeping things, we're not tying it directly to the UI, right? So this could be used for any, like the way I see it is that this UI part shouldn't have anything directly related to the, like, I don't think keeping things in lists inside the UI is that, like, this is a very object oriented style of doing it, in that you're
Okay.
keeping like a list of things, like it's tying the UI to the contents in a way that's we can get into later. Like, but so we have usernames, and then we have the messages, I guess. And that is a set of where is the actual write text. So we have an ID for the, okay, so app.message is the thing. So ID here is the ID, the user ID, or what's the write text? Like, what is it? So there's
That
not
is
content. Or is it the
see.
ID of the message? It's a little unclear.
It's the ID of the user.
Okay. Because it could be like the message, each message would have an ID in some systems, right? Like just calling it ID is
Okay.
a little hard to know what the deal is. So if we go to app.go and we go to the interface, yeah, like this is really user ID. Is that what you're saying? And same with update
Yes.
contexts. Okay.
Yes. 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 It is. It is.
Okay. That's more discrete, right? Because ID could be, there's like 20 IDs in a chat app, depending on what you're talking about. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Cool. All right. So we go back to setting up the app and you to go for each contact. Did I not? Where did the thing I just do go? That's weird. Okay. So we write the text, and then so for each one, that's a user ID. And okay, so messages are always in that order, and a message has name, content. But so why does the message not include their user ID? Is there? I'm just want to make sure I understand why before I do things.
Let me circle back to you on that.
Okay,
Let me circle
cool.
back to you on that.
So for now, we're just going to do app and do app messages. That's fine. And then we will do so if the user doesn't have an ID in here, we're going to do user. Well, we should do the contacts thing. So I feel like this needs to do, we need to have an internal function that's just like func UI and then say load contacts and then do
Yeah.
that.
The IDs are long, so we're just using the name.
Right.
So,
Well, I guess because you guys you're tying it directly to the UI. Okay, got it. So in this case, we'll do load contacts, UI.load contacts. Cool. And then now we can do the same thing if the user ID doesn't, if it's not okay, we're just going to load that there. So, and in this case, it's the message not content, message. So we have the name and the user ID, but the user, okay, help me here. The ID is, I would think, the common address from Ethereum, not a string.
I know. It's that I know we're using ID in a few places.
Like if I can just cast it to
I,
a common address to a string, like if it's the same thing, fine. I just want to make sure I understand why you have it as a string in some places and an address in some other places.
Yeah. Let me circle back to you on that. Also, but
Okay. I mean, the problem is that this is the stuff that, like, again, it has nothing to do with DSR yet. We're getting there, but it's going to be 5 minutes.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Uh, I'm getting the explanation here. 1 second.
Okay, cool.
It says, look at the TUI code and see how we're displaying it there. ID.
Yeah, but that doesn't
System.
that doesn't explain why ID is a common address in some places. And so you're taking write text, app UI write text. The ID is system. So it's, what is system? Is that not that's not user ID then? Because you don't have a user ID of system, right? That's not a common address.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay, okay, okay. Yes, 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 yes. Yeah.
Okay, maybe I'm missing something. Like, teach me, senpai.
Yeah, so we're using ID as system, and then the other times it could be like the actual user, but like system is like for our errors and stuff like that, our error messaging.
Okay, so how does that show up in the TUI, for example? Like if you have a system message, does it have a different like font coloring or
It's
does
now
it?
an it just says system. Like it'll be system and then error. And then we started with the ID, but now like just through the code changes, now it's actually a name. So we never refactored that basically. That's why the confusion's happening. That's
Okay.
why
No, I mean, that's why I
yeah.
wanted to step through it one step at a time, right? So that I understand.
Yeah.
So I'm
Yeah.
not making the wrong assumption. So this common address thing is actually a string to string. It's not the other.
Yeah,
Okay.
in the UI, it's not like truly, I guess, the common address. It's
Okay. No,
more a
that's
name.
fine. Yeah, it'd be nice if it like ID is a little too generic. It'd be nice to know what that's like the intent there is because it's not even a username. It's like a message grouping, right? Like username even is kind of the
Yeah,
wrong thing in this
it's
case.
like it's a name or a label, I guess, would be more like that. It's not necessarily an ID anymore.
Yeah. Okay. We'll leave it there for now, just until I understand more what's going on. I mean, this is all
Yeah,
about
for sure.
exploration at this point. So this ID,
For
in the
sure.
case of the common address, we would actually be doing. Well, let's go to where that happened up here in the UI in TUI app context or contacts. Okay, so it's changing that to a hex. Got it. Okay. Got it. Okay, so now we use that as their like the ID thing to go back and forth. In fact, we're gonna go. The question is, you're going from ID. To, yeah. Okay. Sorry, I'm just thinking through
No
what we
worries,
want
no
to do.
worries.
So string, and then we're gonna do string here so that we have these. I guess I'll call them usernames for now, and then we do this thing of. Cool. So we're gonna load the contacts. We set the app, we load context. We have that. This is a private thing, so we can just do that at the bottom, just so it's out of the way. So when we write text, this format, let's see. So we go to write text. So, okay. So you scroll the end, which we'll take care of in DataStar. We have a case of system. Okay. So we're going to switch on IDs. Is systems treated this? I feel like that should be a constant somewhere, but okay. So we're going to text view. Let me see what we're doing here. So you're going to print the text view. Is there anything special going on there? No. Get line item. If ID is not found, current ID, get count.
Bill's saying that we cheated when we used the UI component as our storage on the UI side.
Yeah,
So
I'm seeing that. So okay.
yeah.
No, that's fine. That's fine. Not a problem. So the cool part is that we should be able to just go write text and then we do UI.messages. Oh, we already did the append message. Cool. We're done. Um, my only thing is that I feel like the ID should be there because I'm not going to cheat. So I'm going to take type and I'm going to say, I'm going to call this message, and then it's going to take internally, it's going to take the app message, but it's also going to add the ID as a string. So
Okay.
basically just taking that interface and now I can do message so that I can get access to, so when I do basically raw message, and I'll make a new message that has that contents that, and then we're good. That way I can keep all that information. The thing is, I'm not using it. You guys are like, basically we're taking it directly and putting it into the TUI. I'm saying I'm going to have this and I'm going to throw it into a template, right? I'm going to do
Okay.
like an independent thing. So
Okay,
Okay.
for sure.
That way, and I feel like if you have it this way, you might change your guys' interface to just include the ID and then separate out when you actually go to do your render thing. Um, the way that the 2E stuff that you guys did worked is very object oriented, and whereas Datastar is very much immediate mode, so you only have to render what's in front of you at that moment, which is a little bit easier. Okay, so we loaded the contacts just in case. So all this goes away. So ironically, that should be quite a bit smaller. So we can do that. Cool. And then update
Yeah,
contact.
Bill is saying that you're right, that you need an index. The ID is the right thing to use.
Okay, great. Yeah, that's great. So shortcuts. So update contact, the shortcut ID count, get count plus 49. Uh,
I think that was
what?
something with the actual like TUI, the T view thing we were using to get that working. Um,
Okay.
we had to kind of like hack
Oh, you're
that
doing
to
an
get it to
offset
show
from
up.
ASCII. Yeah, you're doing an offset
Yeah,
from
yeah,
ASCII. Okay. Get
yeah,
list count, add item. So update contacts. Is that part of the interface? I'm sorry, I've already forgotten it. Update contacts is part of the
yeah.
interface.
It is.
Who is calling you? Because it's the UI that's calling you to update contacts. Is it when you make a change in the UI and then it other people have to find out about it? Is that why it lives here? Like why I'm a little confused that this should be um not be done by the app, but it's done by the UI calling the app saying that like this person changed or something. Like I'm a little confused by this.
Yeah. Give me 1 second here, and I'll ask.
Sure. Because it feels
It's
like
called
this
by
is
the app.
something that it's called by the app, but it's doing a shortcut add item. Okay, main
Yeah,
text, secondary name, ID. Yeah, I feel like I need a little bit more understanding. Well, the thing is, the good
yeah.
news is that
Okay.
we can fix this really quickly. We can say username equals name, uh, and then that's it. Like that's all we
Yeah,
needed.
gotcha. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, the full thing
And then,
is update contact is called by the app. When a new contact comes in, we have to update
mhm.
the UI. The app notices a new contact, and the app calls this to update the new UI or the UI.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, we'll talk about how to do that. Okay. So those are the interfaces. Um, and if we go back to here, we still get. Oh, I'm getting errors now. Okay. Invalid memory address. Load contacts is invalid. Okay. For username in app UI contacts. I'm guessing app is not set yet in the load contacts. So if equals nil, let's try that. UI memory address nil. Which memory address? The UI one? Sorry, I'm used to using a debugger, so this is a little. I'm not used to going off the console logs, so you have to.
Oh, gotcha.
Apologize.
Okay.
So it's saying that UI is nil here when set app is getting called, which is interesting. So is new not creating? So if we go in here, oh, because I had that from before. Okay.
Oh, it's okay. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Great.
that's okay. Cool. Now I'm probably calling load app in too many places, but that's fine. This should go back to being normal because that won't happen again. So where I made an assumption, which is always bad. We'll go back and clean this up when I can set up a debugger and stuff. Okay,
Yep.
cool. So now we bare minimum update. All right, bare minimum UI interface impl. Cool. So, okay, let me take a second. Like, are you doing okay? Everything
Yep.
copacetic?
I'm doing okay. Yep. Doing good.
Okay, cool. So let's see. So we have our base UI of what we want it to look like. Now we need to
Yep.
fill it in. And part of me wants to do this with Temple and all that, but I feel like that's adding a lot more complexity than y'all want right now. I can probably just raw dog it with strings and template. The problem is we need to do a template to basically saying for each of these like messages, send something out. So we need to have some kind of templating. I know there's the Go template stuff, but I think that gets really ugly really quickly. I but I like Temple. I kind of want your guys' opinion because I mean I could also
I,
there's a thing that does like regular string compare, like we could do it with a format string. I just feel like we're gonna get complicated quickly. It's up to you. Again, this has
I
nothing to do really with Datastar yet.
I think yeah, I think we can just raw dog it for now and keep it simple, and then we'll clean it up afterwards. We'll just get it working.
Well, the irony is that I think let's see, because you guys the way you guys do your make files and stuff, it's a little more complicated. What's the best? Because I want to make it, because the problem is the simple way would be to make it a live reload that does task files and all that, but I'd be introducing quite a bit of code to do that. If you guys are okay with that, I can make that happen really fast, and then it's like, then we'll go back and make it. We could possibly simplify it or go back to Go templates and all that stuff. But the irony is that it's actually more work to do that. Um,
Uh, Bill's saying no, just go run.
oh, just go for it, right? Or go run as
Yeah,
in just go run,
we
or
should be
like
able to go build.
you should be able to go build.
Yeah, that's all. He's still typing. Hold
Okay,
on.
where are you, Bill?
uh, let's see. Okay, so the whole message is just go run. We should be able to do go build, dot slash binary, rebuild if something changes. Why can't we do that?
No, you can totally do that.
Well,
We can make, yeah, we can 100% make that happen. It's just a matter of, um, the thing is that, like, for example, the temple stuff is very fast to work in, but you do have a build step. What I usually do is make it so that in my task files that automatically happens every time I make a change in the file. It automatically updates and automatically does all these things. I can set that up really quickly, but again, it's a different form. It's a different thing than what you guys have done so far. So we can try to do it with the Go templates. I just am not the fastest with that. That's all. That's like, I don't care. It works for me either way.
okay.
I'm
Can we call the task stuff from the make file?
Oh yeah, 100%. Like it's just a task file. Like yes, 100%.
Okay,
Yeah. The only thing is that we want to have real time watching and hashing and all these checksums and stuff that make files just do not do. Um, like at least out of the box. So like if you want this to be a live reloading, hot reloading, doing all the things, I know how to do
gotcha.
that really
Okay,
quickly, and then we can call it from main. Like we can clean this up, but like ideally, I would like to see you guys like possibly use task files because it is more robust for doing the kind of stuff where we're about to get real time and about to be making lots of changes really fast. And the make file way that you
for
guys are
sure.
doing right now is kind of a slower way. So okay, let's try
Okay,
it.
so
Let's try
yeah,
it.
yeah. Do your thing, and we said it in the beginning. We're gonna do the Delaney way.
Yeah,
So
let's try it. And if it fails or if it's too much, we'll have a party of pulling it out and trying a more standard Go like template way. Which I think once you
for
see
sure.
this, I think you might go, "Oh man, this is
Which
on
yeah, I
fire."
want to see it. I want to see it too. I think it'll be cool. It'll be cool to see a
Okay,
different way of doing it.
yeah, let's go and do that. So I'm gonna go into, I forget what folder it is in. Let's say we had this basic folder. Okay, I'm gonna make the task file just in this folder so that then you guys can just call it separately, kind of thing. Okay,
Gotcha. Okay.
the copy relative path, and then we're gonna cd blah. Okay, so now we're in this folder, and I am going to do task init. And it created a task file, which is very much like a make file, but unfortunately it's YAML, but that's the only bad side to it. It's also a Go project, but it's amazing. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy paste some stuff that I use all the time. So we're going to copy this stuff in. So we're going to take this, We're going to copy that in, and I will close this just so that we can have a little bit more space. So it's pretty simple. In this case, I'm using this thing called, they have different tasks. In this case, I made one called tools, which is going to do and install the task if you don't have it, which is, I know, ironic because you're calling it from task, but that way I always have this command that I can copy in. So we'll have to add this to your makefile, to your like tool setup or whatever.
Gotcha. Okay.
And
Yeah.
then it's also installing Temple, right? And then I have going to make another section down here that's basically the Temple section, which is basically saying, look for anything that's a Temple file, and it's going to
Okay.
generate Temple code. And the nice part about this is that it's going to actually hash this. So it's going to look for those things, hash it, and do a watch on it every, in this case, 100 milliseconds. We're going to make that like 250 because waiting a whole second is crazy, right? So it's going to look at the thing. It's going to generate the Temple file, and then it's going to create a checksum of that and put it into a folder. Then
Okay.
I'm going to make another thing, which is basically going to just say, kill the current thing that's running 1337, right? It's just saying whatever's on port 1337, kill it, which you'll see
Gotcha.
why in a second. And then when it comes to the site, I'm going to just copy paste a bunch of stuff in here. In this case, we don't have web. It's the static. So we're going to look at all Go files. We don't need Markdown right now. We're going to work on a thing called Workbench. We're going to call it USDL client. And then we're going to take any place we're going to take that here. And we're going to say that anytime any Go file changes, or take all these Go files, and is this the right folder? Is this no, app is somewhere else. Where is app?
App is in.
Or the main. There we go. I got it. I'm just bad at
Okay.
this.
Okay.
So relative path, we're going to go build. We're going to build this guy, and we're going to do chat app. But this is actually going up one layer, I think. Client, front end, web. So it's 2 layers. So when any of these files change, we're going to run this main file again. Okay, so any of the
Gotcha.
files
Okay.
below this folder. And the other thing that's nice is that it automatically, I can take out PB. It can have dependencies. So you can say, before this site thing runs, even though it's going to make another hash and all that, it's going to have to make sure that kill runs and that the Temple stuff runs. So when I change a Temple file, it automatically is going to rebuild all this stuff. And when I change a file, it's automatically going to rebuild. So everything's going to get rebuilt automatically as we're doing stuff.
Gotcha.
Does that
Okay.
make
Very
sense?
cool. Yep.
Okay, and then there's one last piece that we need, and it's going to be this bad boy, this is the default task. So if we just do -w, which is watch, it's going to run
Okay.
the site thing, and it's going to basically run that command. It's going to then run the file. So now in this file, if we do task tools, which basically loads everything here. Technically, I don't need this because I have these things, but this is what you do. If we do task-w, now, yay, we have the
Oh.
site up and running. Now, what's also cool is if we go and change inside of web, if I do, for example, serving port and I put an extra space here, it automatically rebuilt and restarted the server for us. Like that's done. And now it's
Oh.
live reloading. So I never have to do a makefile or anything else again. It's live loading. And if we go look at the contents here, there's a task file and it's actually making a checksum of the current contents and doing all that. So it's doing it very smartly. So it's only updating when we
Very
need to.
cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm a huge
Very
fan of this
nice.
style. In fact, what we'll do is we'll do a .get ignore of this because you want that to be different each time you run. So now we have a task file. And I like it because you can make really complicated things with CSS and all these different things. And it's really simple to just build them into these small modular components and just copy paste them. Like there, we have a live hot reloading thing, and it took us a couple minutes. And now you know the recipe to do that.
Wow.
Okay.
Very cool.
Yeah. So now here's where the cool part comes is that now we have the ability to use Temple. And Temple is the coolest thing to have. It's basically, you guys have done a little bit of React stuff, right?
Yeah, a little bit. Yep.
Okay, so it's like the JSX of Go, but it
Gotcha.
doesn't
Okay.
suck. It basically is a blend of the two. So you get all the benefits of doing HTML stuff, but you also get to do regular Go code for your templating type stuff. So what we're
Okay.
going to do, yeah, it's going to be really neat. We're going to take, and then we're going to say we'll call it home, right? I guess we'll call it chat. So we go chat, and then we'll call it temple. Cool. And we'll
Yep.
go package web. This feels kind of like Go, right? But again, it's a temple
Yep.
file,
It
and
does.
there's a VS extension to do this kind of stuff directly. So what we're going to do is we're going to make a new template, and it's going to be called page chat. And we're going to take that index that we built, and we're going to dump it in.
Okay.
And it has all the formatting and all that stuff. It just acts like normal HTML, which is really nice because it basically figures out where the HTML starts and where your Go code starts, and you get the type completion for both.
Oh, okay. Very
Yeah.
cool. Very cool.
So
Very cool.
now we have this guy that we just did page chat, right? If we go,
Yep.
we see that it already actually built it for us. Like it's happening in the background for us. So if we go and look, it's actually built all the low level stuff of how to build that properly. And in this case, because it's just one big string, it's actually taking all the contents and just putting it directly in line, like in a very fast, efficient way. It basically minified
Oh
that
wow.
HTML. So it's taking care of all that for you. Once we start adding dynamic content, you'll see islands of buffers being loaded and all this stuff. But it's doing a very efficient way of doing this. That's like 10 or more like 100 times faster than the Go formatted templates and all that. That's why I'm like, it's just orders of magnitude faster and it's easier to work with. Okay.
Very
So,
cool. This is neat.
yeah. So now what's really neat, I think, is that now we can go back to the server and to the router and we can talk to this. We remember how we said hello data star, right? Because that was the static file, but there's
Yep.
nothing. Oh, hold on. It says that we need to do go mod vendor, I guess, make 80, I guess, because is there make tidy? Was it not tidy?
It should be make tidy.
Okay, maybe because I wasn't in the right folder. Oh, that's also another thing is task will automatically go up and down the chain for you. So you can do your anything below where your task file is, it'll automatically find the proper one and run that task file. There's all these things that are just like, to me, task files are like make files done right. So of
Wow.
course I lost my place. So let me go back to where we were. CD here. And go run, or sorry, task W. There's no task file. Oh, hold on, CD web, and then task W. Okay. So now we had hello data star there,
Oh.
right?
Yep.
What's interesting is that template is now just a function. So you notice I have page chat. It just turns it into a function. It's just a function call.
Oh. Oh wow.
So page chat. And then we're going to say, it gives us back a template component, which basically says, I want to render this. It needs a context. And in this case, we're going to set the context to the route.context, which means that if you haven't done a lot of context stuff, it basically means that the person using your page might cancel out of, like they might close the browser or close the tab or something. So
Okay.
in this case,
Okay.
it's going to be microseconds to render this. But the point is that most things in this space will take a context because it could be canceled by the other person. And this will make a lot more sense when we
Gotcha.
start doing data star stuff. Okay.
Okay.
So when you see
Gotcha.
context,
Gotcha.
that's the client's context or the browser's context that you're looking at. So
Got it.
you're rendering it with that context, and then you're using the writer itself, and that's it. So now when we change that out, again, everything's happening for us in the background automatically, and now we have our template is running.
Very cool.
Cool.
Chat
All
render.
right.
Yep. So now it's just one function call. That's very
Now it's
cool.
just one function call.
Oh wow.
Now what we're going to do, this is where it gets really fun, is we're going to take in, what's the things that we were doing? We were doing username. So we're going to take this usernames and this messages, and we're going to
Okay.
put those into this function call. So we have username and messages, right?
Okay.
Cool. Now if we go in here, and I'm also going to do a little hack here real quick, in that there's a tag that says meta, and I think it's refresh. I think that's it. And let me see if that does what I think it does. In fact, let me look it up real quick. Meta refresh. Oh, there it is. So this is the correct one. What this is going to do, because again, we haven't done any data star yet. We're still not on data star.
Yep.
But what this is going to do is it's basically going to refresh the page every single time. So every 5 seconds, this content 5 is basically going to just refresh the page. So this is like if you didn't have hot reloading and all that, you're just going to be able to see something immediately. So it's going to automatically do that. Okay.
Gotcha. Okay.
And the other thing is, notice that we changed the template. We changed the template here to have parameters, right? We changed the template to have username and messages. Well, now this is invalid, right? It's not compiling yet. So we can hand it in fact, I wonder if we just handed a web UI instead. Because again, this is all in the same user, it's just all in the same namespace. So we literally can just do UI, web UI. And again, that's Go code that you're auto completing on inside of an HTML thing, which is pretty great.
That is very
so now
cool.
we have
Yeah, that's awesome.
So now we just can go in here and go UI. Cool. We're now back to compiling. So now we run, it does its thing. So now I don't know if we have, in fact, what I'll do real quick just to make sure, let's find out, let's start turning this into actual, so with users, if we do, for example, we had H2 users, if we do 4, this should look pretty familiar.
Yep.
UI users.
Yep.
And then we just take blah, 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 and we take this Kevin guy, move him over, and then we say that's his user ID. So it's actually, because it's users, okay. Here's an interesting situation where the users is in a map. Maps in Go are unsorted, right?
Yep.
I don't know if you knew that. They're unsorted, right?
Yep.
By definitely, they actively they do that. So we can actually go in here and say we're going to have a sorted users, and it's going to have, let's see if it does the make length users, and it's going to be the length of UI users, and then we're going to just for each one, we're going to add the user ID. Like we're going to basically be sorting it by name, I think is the right thing to do here. By usernames, and then we're going to make a set of strings, and then we're going to say, so instead of sorted users, because we're just getting the strings, right? And then we go UI usernames, and then we're going to fill it with that. And the nice part about that is then we can just do slices sort, because it's a known type thing, sorted users. Why is that? Why is I invalid index? So if we set this to 0 capacity, then we can just append, and it's not going to actually cost anything to do. Have you done that kind of stuff before, where you're basically setting a capacity? So the thing is, with a slice, if you keep appending to it, it has to grow and grow and grow. But if you set it to a 0 with an initial value, then it's not doing all those extra allocations and stuff. It's doing one allocation.
Oh, okay. I got it.
So then we're just appending it. But yeah, it's going to do it one time. And now we can do range of sorted users, and we'll be able to pick up that user there. And the other thing we can actually do, if we want, we can have sorted users. Let me think about how I want to do that. Well, in this case, we'll do we'll actually take their the like formatted line. So there, in this case, it's doing that. Yeah, I think. And then for each one of these, we'll add that line, and then we'll just say here the user is the contents of that line. I don't know if that makes sense.
Okay.
So if we go I here, and then I. So in this case, we're just sorting through the users and getting their line in there. So now we're going to have a set of users, all like their user IDs are going to be all the right name.
Gotcha. Okay.
In the right order.
Yeah.
So if we go here, and now we can do some interesting things. So we could say, for example, If length users equals 0, we can say no users else, go and do all this other stuff, right? So it's, again, just regular Go code inlined in with HTML. So in this
Yeah, it's
case,
very cool to see that. Like like we're using
yeah,
Go how we would normally use JS. Like it's pretty cool.
yeah. And so the interesting thing is now I am not seeing, it's giving no user. It basically, I would think that this should show no user, because basically we have these two Kevins. Oh, that's why. So if we get rid of the Kevin there, right? We get rid of Kevin because we had two Kevins on screen. Okay, I'm not seeing them. So let me see what I'm doing wrong. So if I do users, just to make sure, I must have an error somewhere, because what's new? Console. Are we seeing anything there? If I get rid of that meta thing, was that causing an error? Also, it's nice that you can just do comments, right? Like just normal Go comments, and it
Yeah.
automatically works. Page UI, US chat, DSL. I'm trying to think of what. Okay, we're not. That's interesting. Basically, I'm not seeing any content changes. So,
Yeah, yeah.
page chat, web Go. Let's see, log print foo. Oh my God. So we were actually looking at the old, this page was the old
Oh.
server ID thing. So if we look now, see how it says sample contact? That
Yep.
was coming from the server thing now. I think. Let's go back here and go back to where we were. US data start has 2 exclamation points. Let's get rid of those. We'll do users. Here we got that. Let's get rid of that and see if now. Okay, that went away. And then these 2 users of Kevin, they go away.
Sample
Guess what?
contact.
Sample. That must be the name of someone, because I didn't. That's nothing in my code, right? That just came from you
Yep.
or someone else. So in this case, hold on, user. This is the
Which we can check that in the ZAR folder because
okay.
it should have you in the data JSON there. It should say sample contact.
Okay, and we'll go to Zard, or what is it called?
Zarf. Um
Zarf key data.json.
data. Yep.
Okay. Yep. So how did that get messed? How did that get? Didn't we have one in place already?
We did, unless it
Okay, I can open up
regenerated that
a,
somehow.
yeah, I can put that back in. So if we go in here and we do sample contact and we change that back to the number you gave me, and we go back to Delaney, and this won't restart because
Well, that would be me. So that would be Kevin, and anonymous up top would be Delaney.
oh, okay.
So that was your ID that was in there.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So the one up here was my ID.
Yeah. Your account.
Okay.
That's my
And
like your
this
account,
is you.
and that's
So this,
mine. Yeah.
and then we'll call this Kevin.
Yep.
Cool. And now if we go, because again, this is not in my task files, but normally, like if this file matters, we would set that in the task file. So if anything changed in it, would automatically restart or whatever, right? But
Gotcha.
again,
Yeah. This is where that's where we store the contacts. Okay. There it
okay,
is. Yep.
cool. So yay! So far we're getting closer, right? Like one step at a
Yep.
time. Okay. So for messages, so we have my ID, and that. How are we getting that? So just from the website, where we probably need to save that off as the app, and then there's the users, and then do you have like a my user or my account? Like how do you? Oh, here, perfect. My account, and then in UI we're gonna say my account is my account ID, right?
Yep.
Cool. Now what's interesting is we can go in here and say my ID, and then go UI dot my account, and we can do hex, and we could do, for example, the last 10 of it kind of thing, or the first 5, 0, or I think 7's what Git uses. But if we save that off now,
Now it's populating up there. Very cool. Okay.
but the thing is, it should be. Why is it? It should be less than that. Am I crazy? Oh, I'm dumb. I was looking at the wrong thing. I was looking at the Kevin here instead of going up here, right?
Oh, okay. Yeah. No.
So now if we go back and say 7 and refresh, great. We have that hex now. Now what I would say is that we go off and make a quick little function in web that says pretty hash or pretty ID, pretty print hex, and then we do common here.
ID, common address. Yep.
And what's nice now is that we can just use that function directly on this guy inline. So now your templates look even cleaner, and you can do it in one place, and now it's available everywhere, kind of thing. So it automatically picked that up, knows that it exists, and it said code action failed, undefined pretty print, but I just did it. So web app. Oh, because I didn't hit save. I guess you have to save things for them to run weirdly. Okay, so see how it's the ... If you're like, oh, that's great.
Yeah.
And we're like, no, we don't want the ... We're going to do that. And in this case, it wouldn't need it. But you get the point, right? Like you can.
Yeah, for sure.
Cool. Now we are going to. What are we going to do next? We are going to make the messages be automated now. So for each message, we're going to do this guy. And then for each message, we have so we're doing this thing with the sorted lines, and we're doing the user. So we want to do a pretty print of the user as well, I think. We go back into web. We'll do a pretty print user. And then, yeah, I don't know what I want yet, but it's going to return a string for sure. And then we do ID, name, and those are both strings. And we'll do this, just do that for now. In fact, with this, we can do the pretty print. No, because it's already a string. Okay, so we'll just leave that for now. So we have pretty print user. This line calls pretty print user with ID and you. And in this case, it's not you, it's name. I will say that the refactoring inside a temple is not great right now. So, okay. So for each message, we're going to do the pretty print, not hex, pretty print user. And we're going to do for each message, we're going to do message.id and .name. And then we do inside here, we'll do the message.content. Yep. And I saw we have a date created and some other stuff. So we'll get to that in a second. Okay, we're getting some errors. Did I not save again? Am I not saved? Generation incomplete. Missing import path. Are you sure? Okay. Let's missing import path, 5 more errors. Source formatting error. Okay. Oh, it has it did a weird import thing there. I don't know why. Message content. So this content is in bytes. I'm guessing it's literally just a string that's been saved as bytes. We'll find out really shortly. So if we go here and refresh. So we don't have any messages from them. So I would do the thing of if there are no messages, we do a message of no messages found. and we'll turn that into an alert or something. And otherwise, we do the thing. So we've done that. No messages found. No messages found. No messages found. So we'll get rid of these guys. And now I guess you can send me a text or send me a message.
Yep. So let's see. Would it still come in if I did it through the client that I have running?
It should.
Just
Yeah,
the
I
OTO?
should. It should not
Okay.
matter. That's the whole point of this.
Gotcha.
Hopefully.
Okay. All right. Testing.
Okay. Now again, we don't have the data star set up, so it's not going to be. I'm going to basically have to refresh to see it. Okay, I have not seen anything yet. But also I didn't see
Let me
handler
see
last
here.
ping. I'm not seeing is there something I'm doing wrong?
Message ID, message name,
Oh no, I meant like
content.
I'm guessing this. I didn't see anything in the server. I didn't get any update in the server that I saw. Like the
No
server, I
updates in
didn't
the
see.
server. Okay.
You want me to
Yeah.
try starting it up again just to see if I can restart it and just
Let's
see?
bring. What if we brought up Zarf? Maybe it went into that file and it didn't. Let's see if it's
Maybe.
if it populated in that data JSON.
Okay, this is all. This is what I have in here.
Go to messages under DB, that messages directory.
There's nothing in here.
There's nothing. Okay, yeah.
Nothing. Do you want me to delete it
And
and
is
start
your
fresh?
no? You could leave it. You could leave it as is.
Okay. Yeah, there's no
He
messages. There's no
needs.
nothing.
Yeah, make sure. And the cap is running, right? Yeah, I see.
It is
I see
now. Yeah.
cap running down there. It is there. Okay. Let me see. Let me try again
Okay.
because it should.
We will get to Data Star. I promise
No.
you.
Yeah. No, yeah. So I don't know why you're not receiving that. Let's see if I just match my if I match the nonces here, it could be that. No, nothing there. Oh, is that on name Kevin from Kevin? Did that update there or no? Or is that old?
I see nothing in my messages folder.
I'm looking at the cap. I see Kevin E there. Oh no,
Oh, I
that
did
is
see. Yeah,
Kevin.
I did see a name come in. Oh, look, WebSocket closed. Abnormal EOF.
Uh-huh. Okay.
I don't know what that's about.
Interesting.
I mean, the UI part's working well.
Yeah, it is. It is. Hmm. Let me see here.
Okay.
If I restart my client, testing. Nope, nothing there, right? And nothing updated in messages. I
No, I wonder
wonder
if
if you.
do we need to delete messages and have it start fresh?
Yeah,
Like,
I
will
can
it
do that.
automatically regenerate? Well, no, when you say I can do it, it'd be me doing it, right? Like, I'm saying that I delete messages completely and restart the server. I would think that it would automatically rebuild that messages folder. Oh, it doesn't.
No,
Okay.
no.
Okay. Yeah. Tell me what I need to do to get back to a working chat app.
So let's try and just run the old TUI and see if it still even comes in through that.
Okay. Well, I need to change the main. Is that the right
Oh,
one?
okay, okay.
No, it's fine.
If
It's
you
no
have to
big
do
deal.
all that.
It's not a big deal at all. So we just go here, here, we do here, here, and then we do that to 2E. Cool. And then close this, and then we go up a directory to 2E. Or no, we did the thing where we make, what was it, run client?
Yep, make run.
Oh, I have to go all the way up to shoot. Okay. see, where is it? It's there. There. Make run client. Okay. Chat's not right. Oh, it's USDL. Yeah, I like
one
test
more,
files
one
so much.
more. Yep.
Yeah, I love task files so much. Okay.
Okay, let's try
So
this.
that's showing up. Okay.
Oh,
So
invalid nonce. There we go. Okay, so it's the nonce not matching. Let's see. So what do you have me as? You have me as 1 and 1.
yeah.
1 and 1. So now if I do this, you should have got that. Okay, or not. Hold on. 1 and 1. Restart this. Okay. And testing. There it
Yeah,
is.
that's not giving it an error now. Testing. Okay, so now if we go back to here, in fact, what I'm going to do is I'm going to change this to be, we're going to comment both of these out, and we're just going to say UI equals 2e new, add account, and then we're going to do here UI setup, and then we can basically switch back and forth between that and the web app, right?
Gotcha. Okay.
So we'll do that, and then we'll do here, we'll do UI. Cool. So now we can switch between these two if we need to. So now if we go back to the web app and go back to that folder, which it's funny, I cannot remember chat API. I think API is what's messing me up because I keep going like it's not an API, it's the thing. And then we go client, UI, web, and we go task-w, go back to there. Okay, so it's saying
and then
no
now,
message.
so it's not getting our message history.
Oh, it's saying it sent the nonce back to 0 when I did that for the client.
Oh, it did. Yeah, because it should be 2-1.
Yeah, but I didn't. I don't know what I would have done. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know what could have caused that there.
Can I do it by hand to 2 and 1?
Yeah, we could try that.
Okay.
We can try that. Testing again.
Yeah, I'm not getting anything, but I'm also not seeing any errors. So I'm a little. Let me see if it's just something with the routes. Like let's go to front end client. We'll go to web, and right. So does write text get called every time? Like so, if we go log print write text ID. Okay, I'm not seeing write text getting called.
Bill is saying, I don't think we support 2 UIs running at the same time because of the updates.
I'm not running 2
to
UIs at the
storage.
same time. Yeah, I'm not running 2 updates or APIs at the same time. They are running completely independent from each other. Like I'm only running one.
Yeah. Okay. So why would our nonces get reset though? That's weird to me.
I mean, I'm sure I'm doing something wrong. I just don't know enough about the code base to. Is there something in my web thing when I'm doing the set app? Is there something about that or when?
Let me see here. We're setting app, then we're item text, current ID, item count, update contact.
Would you like me to commit where I'm at right now? Would that help?
Yeah. What time is it? Oh, we're over time anyway, so we can continue and kind of stop here and continue on and fix it.
Yeah, sure.
Maybe
we'll have Bill
be able to help us there.
Okay. Yeah, we will get to data star someday. The data star party is literally 5 minutes. So, yeah, it's one of those things where it literally is 5 minutes, but it's a matter of we have
We
to
just need the supporting.
it's the minutia of this kind of stuff that's the hard part, right? Um,
Exactly, exactly.
well, it's kinda like the temple thing, like, it seems like it's a lot like, "Oh, you're having another build step, you're having it," but once you have the right tool set, it's really fast, it's really easy. I feel like there's a lot of this kind of stuff where we it has nothing to do with the data star stuff, it's just a matter of getting another app and another because you guys are going from there's always a thing of 0 to 1, you have like a nil pointer that you have to deal with, and then you have one of something, which is a singleton, and then you have infinitely many. And you guys are basically going from one to now trying to solve the infinite many problem. Like it needs to be able to handle any amount of UIs. So we want to do that.
Gotcha, gotcha. Makes sense. Yeah. Well, I appreciate you helping us out today. I know we couldn't get to the data star, but we will.
We'll get to it.
Um, it was really cool to see how you did it, and it was just a different workflow and stuff like that. It was really cool and showing temple and the what was the name of
Open
the other one with
props.
the variables? Open
Yeah,
props.
open
Open
prop.
props.
It's
Yeah,
great.
that was very cool.
Yeah.
That was very
So it's
cool.
funny. Each little piece took a few minutes, but like trying to understand the overall thing, we'll get it. We'll get there.
We'll get there. I appreciate it, Delaney. Well,
Hey, not a problem.
thank you to everybody who stayed with us. I hope you enjoyed it. Something a little bit different. First time, hosting the show solo, so it was pretty exciting. And we'll see you all next week, Tuesday.